Okay, so you got my screen now, right, kids? So here we go. Chrome. Gosh darn, what is going on? What is this? I don't want that. I got freaking emails. Look, I'm trying to do this stuff. Okay, find my thing here. Where is it? Can I minimize? Oh, it's lost. Gosh darn it. So many windows. More. Do I have a chat? Let's see what we got. Message? Okay. Bye, Adam. Thanks for coming, man. I don't blame you. Okay. Do what you got to do. Let's see here. Oh, my gosh. Just hide that. Where is this thing? Here we go. Sorry. Enzymes. Okay. So focus on catalyst, activation energy. Really, we're going to focus on environmental conditions. Okay. First off, enzymes speed up chemical reactions. Deal. What do we have to know about them? They've got an active site that's super, super, super specific for its substrate. Right? The only way it works on a substrate is if that substrate fits into its active site, okay, which makes it pretty, the substrates are usually unique for their enzymes, right? Obviously, drugs target active sites. A lot of our drugs target the actual active site of enzymes. Other drugs will target allosteric sites, okay? So sucrase, we name enzymes the end in ase, right? It's going to be the reason it's called sucrase, it acts on sucrose, right? They don't call it sugarase because it doesn't break down all sugars. Or they don't call it disaccharase because it only breaks down one single disaccharide. Of all the combinations of disaccharides we can have, this one breaks down sucrose. It's called sucrase. Okay. As we look at activation energy, right? We've talked about this before, right? We knew Dylan and the crazy girl were going to break up, right? That just wasn't meant to be, right? It was just a matter of getting enough activation energy for Dylan to dump her and stand up for himself and say, no, I don't need to put up with your garbage, right? So, maybe it helped that I Snapchatted her and said, hey, Stephanie, are you up? And she got all mad. Maybe that helped. I don't know. Okay. But that's what enzymes do. Enzymes lower the activation energy. Okay. We don't have to know delta G's for our test. You can worry about that for AP Chem and physics, right? But in general, activation energy is lowered by enzymes. Okay, this is the blocker. Like what, I'm not going to do any more analogies, I don't think, because I don't want to get in trouble, okay, or say something stupid.
Hold on. Like we're telling me that you were the enzyme that lowered the activation energy.
I will not take full credit because this is being recorded, but you're welcome. Yeah, you're welcome, Dylan. Okay, so I don't know why you guys broke up, but I knew it wasn't going to last. Okay, you had to get over this hump of, I'm better off by myself. I'm at a lower energy state, but you still have to go through this hurdle. The breakup can take energy. There might be tears. Okay, so anyways, induced fit. Yeah, so what? Okay, here, take a look at this. You already have these notes in your notebooks. I'm not going to read them. How do we lower activation energy? So we orient them correctly, right? We strain chemical bonds. You guys know. Now here, do you guys do this in AP chemistry? Like bond angles and what do they call molecular?
That's what our test is on tomorrow.
Oh man, dude, that's freaking brutal. Trigonal bipyramidal. I remember those guys, right?
Oh, tetrahedral.
Tetrahedral. There you go.
Octahedral.
Yeah, that's right. So I learned that once too, and I've heard, in the bond angles. Oh my goodness, bond length, whatever. So here you go. What really matters? This is this stuff. Okay, enzymes. So here's the deal. Enzymes and protein shapes. We should stress this. Protein shape depends on its environment. Okay, we went through proteins and we didn't mention that. Well, what determines a protein shape? Well, first off, the order of amino acids, right? The primary order of amino acids. Secondly, we're going to get these beta pleated sheets and alpha helixes. Thirdly, this thing's going to fold in crazy, crazy ways thanks to R group interactions and some other things going on. It's going to fold up and that'll be its shape. Okay, that third level structure. But its shape can change, right? If we heat up, think about an egg. You crack eggs. We've been doing a lot more cooking and baking at the Verde household, so we crack a lot of eggs. You put under heat, we just fry eggs, right? Let's just get, real quick. It's a 99-cent meal with all the amino acids we need, right, for one egg. You know that your proteins change the shape and their structure in heat. Okay, now, we go to Costco and we get two things of bread and we'll freeze one, right? Freezing it doesn't denature it. We can freeze the bread, but we can heat it back up and it'll taste like bread. Okay? What you can't do is heat the bread up and think you're going to find a way to get the bread back. So while being in cold temperatures can change the protein shape, typically, if we got in the right heat, right, that this enzyme, we could cool it down, but if we brought it back to human temperature, it would act 100, almost at 99% efficiency, 100% efficiency, right? If you heat it up, right, past here, it's denatured and there's no returning this enzyme to its optimal form. You can't get eggs once you fry an egg, once you get the white and the yellow and all that, you're not going to get it back in the egg form. Okay, and what are we doing? We're changing the protein shape and structure almost permanently. Okay, so we've got to realize this: temperature, pH, ions in the environment, okay, pressure, all those can change protein structure. Structure dictates function. So remember we said that the active site is super specific for its substrate, right? Well, if we change the heat in it, right, well, all of a sudden now our little enzyme, the active site, can't fit the substrate, okay? So you can think about like pepsin. So here's two, this is fascinating. Here's, Florence, you just did digestion with us, right? And I think you definitely learned about pepsin and trypsin. Pepsin works in your stomach. The pH is 2. If you take pepsin and put it in the small intestine, it falls apart. It's too basic. Even at the pH of 4, it's not acidic enough for that enzyme to be the right shape to break down proteins. Okay, we break down proteins in our stomach. All right, well, a different enzyme, trypsin, is found in the small intestine. Its pH, its optimal pH, where is its rate of reaction going to be the highest? Right, so look at the y-axis. Where does the most reaction happen? When the pH is 8. Your small intestine, it turns out it's a little bit basic. Your stomach's a little acidic. This almost has to be because if your stomach acid leaks in the small intestine, we've got to be able to neutralize that, right? And so, almost right there, we get some water with that small intestine, large intestine, where the acids meet the bases, okay? So the enzymes then that we use in our small intestine had better be optimally suited for a little bit more of a basic pH compared to the pepsin, which is in the stomach. Okay, so I think that's all I really wanted to do. Oh, cofactors are cool. We definitely talked this. It's been a while, but you think like zinc is a cofactor. It's a metal, right? It basically bonds to enzymes that not at their active site. Okay, iron, right? We have iron in our diet, right? It's a cofactor. Okay, coenzymes are some coenzymes are vitamins. They're basically organic cofactors. So cofactors, I think of like enzyme helpers, to keep it simple. Okay, guys, we're going on a lot of time here. Let's be done in 2 minutes. Okay, so I just want to look at inhibiting enzymes and feedback inhibition, right? Sometimes this enzyme can work really well. And if it works so well, its product might come back and bind with that enzyme, right? And this is how negative feedback loops work. Well, in one sense, okay? So if you can imagine, so here's non-competitive inhibition, right? That this enzyme breaks this thing down. Imagine if it broke it down into one of these subunits, right? When you did this enough, there'd be so many subunits here, it would bind to this enzyme and change its shape so it no longer broke this thing down, right? This would be a way of, it's like a negative feedback loop. As we do this process and do this process and do this process, we don't want to do it exponentially for a lot of things. So we have to find some way to regulate enzymes. Okay, and oftentimes products might bind to an allosteric site and inhibit that enzyme. It would be a reversible binding, so they could bind and eventually fall out of that site. And if it's super low levels, this enzyme will stay in its active form for a while until high levels of that product rise, go back and inhibit the enzyme. Okay, that's cool. So that was from chapter 6. I am done right there, kids. We're going to call it right there. Let me just, wait a second. Oh, wait a second. I'm recording this somehow, some way, and I lost it. Oh, shoot. Sorry, guys. Can you see my screen still? I don't think you can. I don't know where my screencast went. Sorry. Stop this. Darn it. Ah! Okay, stop.